Thank you very much. I hope when we network, you call me Esther. And thank you to Talent Match for the invitation to be here today. To answer your question, one of the things is that, and I hope everyone has realized that technology is now part of everyday life. Most of the time, especially in the workplace, it's very rare that you can escape using technology. Even now, if you're a farmer, there's some sort of technological tool you have to use if you want to increase production. So technology is everywhere. It's becoming more and more, I would say, ubiquitous in every space we are in. And now with AI, it's even amplifying what we are saying. So within the ministry, there's a couple of things that we've been trying to do for the longest time. The first one is to strive towards having all Rwandans to have basic digital literacy. So what we are trying to do is, by the end of 2029 at least, every Rwandan would have basic digital literacy. That is, do you know how to use a phone? Do you know how to go on internet? If you're using any digital tool that is important to the work or your day-to-day life, are you able to do that? And for us to get to almost all Rwandans, we have one of our major programs, which is a Digital Ambassadors Program, where we have young people that are in communities. And these are actually also some of the jobs that are starting to emerge. Digital ambassadors in communities that go door-to-door, business-to-business in every community to really teach everyone who wants it basic digital literacy. And then in other sectors, especially like in education, we've worked with the Ministry of Education to create training for teachers, training for students, on different technology platform to say the least. But one of the recent major program that we actually launched is the 1 million coders. And this program, we're doing it in different areas. And this is to really upscale, going from just basic digital literacy to having people who are, if you need a bit of coding in your day-to-day work, how do you do that? If you do data analysis, what kind of tools and skills do you need? And these are mostly free courses that are available. And what we've done is we've partnered with so many organizations in the country, both private and government, to start upskilling young Rwandans into these jobs. And I think we've seen some of the programs that are mostly based that are really starting to reach into universities and be best in universities, getting young students to be trained and get on the job immediately as they go through. So that's some of the things that we are looking at, but our main goal is to make sure that every Rwandan is digitally literate, and every young person who needs a job or is looking in a job is readily skilled to have the digital tools to work in that particular job. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Esther, I am following your cues, Until I'm allowed to say Raymond, I'll say Dr. Raymond. Let me come to you. So to what extent, Dr. Raymond, are you paying attention to what employers need so that you can design curricula and all the education at the university to address their needs?
Thanks. Maybe before I answer your question, of course, start thanking Ellen for inviting us, but who's from UR here? A student or a graduate from UR? So probably they are not the majority this evening, but to put things in context, think about UR putting outside every year 80,000 graduates to the job market. And obviously with those numbers, the main question or the main challenge is where this student or this graduate are going, and did you prepare them enough? So one thing we realized, or we have realized but acted on recently, is on the curriculum design and also the courses we offer. We decided to reduce even the offering. We're offering more than 162 undergraduate programs. We reduced them to 87 in alignment with the job market. How you do it? There are many mechanisms we have tried: the seminars, curriculum review workshops, career fairs, discussion with bodies like ICPA on accounting, encouraging academics initiative like what Alex here is doing with architects. So there are so many ways we tried. But obviously, we are also willing to listen and to learn because the room of improvement is the biggest one at the moment.
Thank you. You have not responded to whether I should call you Raymond or Doctor, but okay. Thank you. Queen, how are you using technology in identifying, engaging and recruiting your talent?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here. While I was on my way here, I was reflecting that I've been in companies where I'm the youngest. I've been in companies where I'm in the middle. You know, when you're the youngest, you have time. Like, everybody look at you, okay, tell us, what is this? And then I've also been in a company where now I'm the oldest. I'm among the senior and mature people, actually. So that's the reality of my life now. And every time I'm invited to speak on a panel like this, I'm very humbled and excited to be here. So it's a pleasure for me to be here. I will reflect a bit on this, on the recruitment. So I'd like you guys to reflect. Imagine in the late 90s, imagine how recruitment was done. So it's basically to have your khaki envelope, to put in your resume or your certificate, your ID, any training you've attended, and then put it in an envelope and go submit. Now, it's no longer that. Yes, you will submit that if there's an application, but there is also us running quickly to LinkedIn. There is also now the recruiter checking on Google. Who is this person? What type of project is he working into? So technology is evolving so much, it's changing so much for all of us as recruiters in a way that we will advertise a position and in 1 week you will receive 150 applications. Just like that, and they are all interesting. We have to go through them. Now with technology and the AI, there will be algorithms to show you which one fits better to the job descriptions and not. But as recruiter, we keep thinking and looking into the job. Okay, what is available there? Who is the best? We look into your CV. We look into your LinkedIn. What project are you working on? And then for me, I keep thinking that it's actually giving young people the power, give you guys to showcase even before we advertise. We find ourselves in a situation, even before we advertised, we go check on LinkedIn who are people who have a background in this particular field. So it's a very interesting, it's moving very fast. It's coming into your own way as an advantage, more than our parents, more than us. I remember 5-7 years ago, we wouldn't imagine to conduct interview without seeing the person. But like now, you can just make sure that you have a good internet. You can Google the best, what are the top 10 questions I will be asked on. We will send you a test, and then you can always ask Google or ChatGPT or Gemini, depending where you come from. But it's it's really advancing quickly. It's giving us less time to go through the CV, but also it's making us to be very actively looking on the sharpest of who is out there. So as I answer this, I'd say actually the technology is in the power of the youth now. You can use it the way you want. You can prepare your LinkedIn as you polish your resume, your CV. Think about the recruiter who will be out there. As you like posts, as you publish some activities that you are working on, think about the recruiter who will check there, because that's what it's used for now. People use it also for TikTok or any other thing they are associated with. I would really encourage you to really leverage it, use it as your power tool. Of course, we have other steps that we use when we are doing recruitment, but it's entirely in your advantage, and it's good that you really leverage on it. Yes, thank you.
So still with you, Queen, what is that one or two skills that you find most wanting from the candidates that apply for jobs here with your organization or other organizations you've been to?
Yeah. So with now the usage of technology, what I'm seeing the most with, like, I don't know if you guys remember when we were applying, our resume always had, I am an advanced user of Microsoft Word. Yeah, right? So, or you would put, I think that was there until even very recently. And sometimes I see that in the resume. And I'm like, man, okay, thank you, that's good. But what we are looking at now more often is not, we know everybody's a tech user. You mentioned, and like someone who is in Hoye or somewhere up country, like somehow, some way, they interact with technology. So what we are looking more of is, yes, you are a tech user, but you are also craft minders. So you are able to analyze data. You are able to do advanced analysis and data analysis to actually come up with a solution. We're actually also looking at some more of problem solvers. In a fast scale, all the companies I've worked with, they were fast-paced companies. So by the time you meet your manager, you should, yes, you come with the problem, but you come with two options at least in terms of solutions. Because they'll say, okay, thank you for seeing the problem. I had also anticipated it, but how will we solve this? So it's that part that's very interesting, that is very important. Yes, be a tech user, be a problem solver. It's also, and I think the other thing I will add as an important skill, it will be around, I know now you are working on your papers, on your studies, like I know there is that part, and I didn't enjoy it even also when I was at school, but the learning, we keep learning, we keep doing research. It's not just about to ask ChatGPT, can you help me respond to my boss? Yes, ChatGPT will give you a generic response, but you still have to use your critical analysis into this before you submit it. So the critical analysis, developing yourself, looking forward to really excel. Those are the people who will be promoted, by the way. Those are the people we have now, young people at Rainbow who have joined at the same time. But like you will see 2 years, people who have been in 2 years, not all of them are at the manager level. We will promote the best of the best. So like the companies now are getting more selective, more competitive, more intentional in terms of how much we expand also on our team. So we have limited resources. We have maybe 2 tickets to attend a seminar. I have 5 people in my team. I will have to select, and then we have to select the best of the best. So it's all about that. People understanding that the competition doesn't end at school with the grading and what. It continues even at work, and it's our part to keep improving.
Thank you. Raymond, I would like you to pick on that and sort of run us through how you are leveraging technology to develop teaching methods that can quickly respond to what employers are looking for. So, for example, she just talked about, problem solving, being tech enabled and agile. And so some of these, and there could be others that move so quickly. So what are those tools that you have that can quickly respond to those needs, so that as your students get out of the university, they can be as ready as possible for the market?
Well, that's a very good question. I hope you agree with me. Technology is outpacing everything that we are seeing around, but definitely we're integrating and also catching up. But when it comes to technology, obviously we implemented our blended learning, where using technology is not actually an option. It's part of what every student has to do. Most of the classes and most of the materials is online, but also they have a time to go through classes. And also in the medical field, we have introduced what we call simulation labs, essentially to start with technology. If you are doing clinical aspect, using technology before you start touching people. There are also initiatives around challenge-driven education, especially in field like ICT, and also again architecture, business, and here the idea is for students to get embedded with problem solving early where they're still at the university, because it's not just tech skills, as Queen just mentioned. It's also the capacity to even identify the issues, the problems. So that's a teaching methodology we are implementing, particularly starting the third year. We have partners like Bag Innovation, who have been helping us for students to also do their portfolio online. But the main thing where we have to be humble as university is that we cannot provide everything in this tech era. Rather, enable students to also do their own research, to do their own activities, and actually be discussant. And for that, every student at the University of Rwanda has a laptop now. We have tripled our connectivity all around. Maybe for the people who don't know about it, the University of Rwanda, together with the Ministry of Education, is empowering also the education network, so that the student, by the time they come to the university, they have all those skills. We have already connected about 1,500, but the same allowed them to be able to discuss. But where we see a lot of potential is on the work Talent Match is doing. By the way, when I came in the office, the first person I met was Ellen, and she was telling me, you can't provide everything. It is stayed with me. You can't provide everything when it comes to the employment. You definitely need the partners. And that's where we are also exposing our students, be to employers, be to other partners in Rwanda, in Europe. We have at the moment more than 85 students who are in Europe and US, also with different employers. So exposure becomes everything, if you would ask me. And that also, as much as we are talking about problem solving, we also need to talk about communication skills. We also need to talk about attitude. So we don't do a lot as a university when it comes to attitude, but we have seen students really who are willing, who are keen, also advancing. I think I will stop it there on that, but definitely others could
Thanks very much. That's very, very insightful. Esther, I know that one of the hardest things any government can do is to reform education systems. So how are you encouraging collaboration between education tech companies and traditional education systems to make sure that the education being provided is relevant for today's market?
I think Raymond would have better answered this than me. But let me attempt to say one of the key things that we've been focusing on, and I would mostly focus on the tech sector because that's what I'm more conversant with. In Rwanda, we have 8 million people that should be working. And I think we have a tiny fraction of those people that are actually working. So there's still a very long way to go, and that is not including all the young people that are coming out of university or higher learning institutions every year. So one of the key things that we've been looking at is how do we expose jobs to young people or where the jobs are. For example, one of the key things we've looked at is something like BPO. When you look at BPO, this is business processing outsourcing, so outsourcing services. And there's been a lot of growth in that, in the tech sector especially. So today you have young people that are seated in Kicukiro, working for the city of New Jersey, trying to help their urban planning applications and everyone who wants to build a home. There's other young people who are seated at Nosken who are doing quality assurance for companies like Lufthansa, for the software that do for Lufthansa. We have others that are being hired by small companies in Germany, others that are in the big BPO sector like Tech Expert, who are working for clients like Microsoft, to name a few. And what that tells us is that, and what we've been trying to do is that, and I think Raymond talked about it, there's really looking at the curriculum and trying to continuously talk about where is the technology going, but also have in-between partners like Talent Match, like NGOs, UN agencies and private sector especially, who have different roles. So some of them do fund programs like training, like for example, MasterCard has been a very important partner in the sector in trying to get young people into jobs. We've also seen a lot of private sector that are actively creating jobs. So when they do create jobs, some of them might have added training programs for young people to be upskilled so that they can be matched to the jobs that they're seeking for. And this is the kind of network we're trying to do. And I talked earlier about the 1 million coders. That is the kind of platform we're trying to build on top of the existing education sector, because there's learning, but ultimately we need to find the jobs. On incubation programs, for example, we have Unipod at the University of Rwanda. We have hunger hubs in different other districts across the country, trying to get young people the structure for them to build those companies so that they can build sustainable businesses, but then so they can also hire their fellow young people. But it's an uphill battle. And I think what is also becoming very clear is that we are competing at a global level. So, and especially in the tech sector. Most of the jobs, and I would, I know one key thing that used to happen, some of the best tech people in Irembo that are being pushed by bigger tech companies, right? So are you able to fill those roles, or are we creating also companies that are able to retain some of that talented. So for any young person, for me, what I would say is that when we're thinking, and how we're thinking about this program is to really position young Rwandans as people who are able to compete on a global level, especially in the tech sector. And that's what we're trying to drive.
Thanks very much. Queen, I have another question for you, which is, I know that it's not uncommon for employers to reach out to HR companies or companies like Talent Match to say, these are the skills we want in everybody we want to hire. So you are sort of proactive so that you don't waste a lot of time. You have ready talent when you need it. Have you had to do that? And what are those skills that you have asked those companies to make sure that the people they propose to you actually have them?
Thanks. We have multiple approaches to this. So because Irembo is a tech, we combine this. We have the tech, which is the biggest division. We have the non-tech. So we are using two approaches. We have what we call hackathons. So hackathons, usually it's a 3-day event where we invite young engineers, people in software development or product design to come work with us. So we will give them toughest projects. So we give them projects that Irembo is trying to work on. We will put them in a room. We have our senior managers around them. They work with them on the project. And then, of course, there we will partner with a university or with other programs where we say that we want to send us your 20 best talents to work with us. At the end of the day, there will be prizes. There will be possible extension of internship. There will be, where we use that approach to actually get to use it as a sourcing platform. In this case, so our tech team, we attract the skills, and then the HR, the recruiters, will now look at the soft skills later on. So they will come. We have our best 5. They can still go through the usual HR process, but we've already identified the people with the right skills, and with actually that side is more of the skills. So the skills they're usually looking at is, yes, thinkers, problem solvers. How do they work? It's more technical. They have a cognitive type of test that actually detect faster the skills at the technical level. Now looking at the business side, so now the business is when we're looking for business development, for the commercial roles, HR, finance. I'm seeing Karoli there. We partner with different universities. I think we have a number of partners, partnering the universities that we work with. Usually we send them emails, give us your best of the best. On that project that your team have been working on, or they're busy, they don't have to work on, we just bring interns and then we give them, okay, we don't have time, energy to work on this. It's a very project for you, work on it, figure it out. I'm here if you need support, and then let's work on it. So those are the type of projects we give them. At the end of 3 months, we will invite different schools, and we will tell the students or the interns, now present not only to me as an employer, but also at you from the institutions. It's also it's an aha moment for them. They have a lot of pride when they are presenting that, because they have figured out something that was really difficult for us to solve, or we didn't want to dedicate a team now and then there. So it's always good for the interns, for us. So we always look at that ways where we really develop them in that way. So we have hackathons, we have those projects where they solve biggest item for us. There's also, we use the career fairs. So the career fairs is also a sourcing pool for us, where we identify interesting candidates there. And yes, and different other ways. We've also been receiving people just reaching out to us directly. They just send emails on our platform. So yeah, that's what I would say on this one. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks. I think we're going to open it up for a few questions. So just to make sure that we are being as efficient as we can, state your name, a brief question, and the panelist you wish to answer it. Can we get the first set of three?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. I have two questions. The first one is basic question to Esther. There are the people who understand technology as coding or programming. We need to know the difference because many people think that if I can't code, if I can't do programming, I can't own technology or I can't be involved in that. That's my first question. The last one is for VC. He's an academician, but he's aspiring strategist I ever found. How technology relates with implementation, not for application to find those jobs, to those who want to own technology in their hand as strategists, and how do you emerge you as a strategist and technological tools? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. My name's Angela Dukunda, and I want to thank you for the opportunity of being here. So I have one question that goes directly to Queen. I would like to ask, at your esteemed company, what do you value most between formal education or professional certifications? Thanks.
Thank you. Next question.
Immediately. I know you might say, oh, it's someone who's on TikTok, they're on Instagram, but if you look at, they have to do video editing, they have to do design, they have to do planning or whatever they're doing, the type of cameras, look at these guys who are doing videography. If you're a person who's trying to become a content creator, you actually have to learn the skills of how to do all these things. At the end of the day, that's all technology, right? That's all technology. If you want to understand how your video is going to become the best and is going to have the best, more views so that you can get paid better, you have to understand how the algorithm works within whatever platform that you're using. And that's just one example. Another example could be in medicine, actually. There's simple thing, it's not simple things, but there's what they call minimally invasive surgeries that use robotic arms and robotics tools to actually do surgery, right? As a doctor, you have to learn how to use some of those equipment and all that. And I'm not sure if I'm answering your question very well, but that tells you that the scope of use of technology is very, is not only limited to coding. So it's a lot of things, being able to use the tools that you have that are technology-based in the day-to-day work of whatever career that you choose to do is also very, very, very important. And you need to learn those tools as you go into the workplace.
Thank you. Raymond?
Thanks. That was a direct question, which I liked as an academician, but also as somebody who's in charge of strategy for the university. How do I leverage technology? I think the first one, it's to be able to make informed decisions in data analytics. Really, I leverage technology around that area in terms of data analysis, but also really looking at what are the data are saying, and can you predict what is going to happen? Can you predict, for example, the next financial crisis for the university and all that? And connected to that, maybe the moderator didn't ask that to me, but it's also the challenge I have at the moment, because from the university, every year there are at least 5,000 students who are out there doing some sort of internship, for example. But if you ask me the next day, apart from a huge number, a list of paper we have signed, if somebody asking me where the student, maybe Jordan will take some few, and the next day I send others without necessarily knowing whether they are still there. So, you know, much of our processes are not yet digitalized, which allows us to do more or better data analytics as we would wish. We recently did a tracer study on you know, where our students are ending up. We found 60% of all top students, when I talk about top student or top graduate, at least the first 20, were getting a job in the first 6 months or 3 months. And I was like, really? This can't be. So, but as you understand, we are getting data. We depend on data if you are in strategy. But then when and how do you get data is still a problem, which I hope definitely technology will help us. If you start even knowing where we placed our student, that could be helpful. Obviously, bag innovation is helping us for students to do their portfolio, but still it is not enough. We need more data analytics too.
Queen, you have a question, and I'm sure you just got a business lead. Raymond still has some of his systems not digitalized, so business opportunity for you.
I took notes. Yes, so we answer Ange. I hope I have understood well your question. So when you mentioned by former, I believe you mean the traditional education system where you have to get a degree, bachelor degree, and so on and so forth. And the professional certifications, these are the certifications that someone can get on the side. So what do we value the most personally? I believe the traditional is a foundation, so I will answer it this way. So the traditional degree is a foundation for you to do well your job. It gives you the theory, it gives you the principle, it builds you in terms of skills on what you need to work. You cannot get a professional if you don't have the basics, the foundational. So now I was reflecting now for a finance person, I believe it will be difficult for me to get a certification on financial modeling if I have not done basic skills on accounting or finance principles. So what we value is both. Me, I believe that certification, you can always get them here and there when it's actually empower you. It gives you, to empower you to do well your job, practically, to get more, to do faster your job. But the basics, the foundations, are the theories and what you get at school, at the university. We always look into that when we are recruiting. We always look at your latest degree. You will even see it when you apply. They will ask you what is your latest degree, or you will have to submit your certification from school. So it's important. I'm not saying that the certification are not important, but the most what we look at as recruiters, we always look at the university certification.
Any other questions? We have room.
That are being put in place to make sure, like as you say, that students still use artificial intelligence to do their work and still discuss and get the things the way they're supposed to be getting them. Thank you.
As you would wish, and if not, what do you ask of Queen, myself, and any other? And by the way, I want to commend you, Alan, for being bold and actually start making these steps. But I feel that the potential is empty in here. I could see some of my friends. What do you ask of us? And how do we actually help you with the burden that often we put an employment burden to you, that often is thrown onto the universities And yet we could actually contribute. Even 93.4 could contribute. Thank you.
Technology will surpass human interaction. The world will be full of idiots. But if someone seated beside you did not greet you and they were in their phones, say hi to that idiot. But I'm not intended to abuse anyone. But come on. We are here to connect and interact and actually talk about the good things technology has brought, and they are there for sure. ChatGPT, everything, the soft skills that we gain. But like Raymond said, and I believe in HR, it's good when we are hiring, you hire attitude and train skill. And one of the things that I want to embark on is actually sharing with the people from universities and students. I want us to take home this. It's like a recruitment personnel, myself, I find some loopholes and gaps with the students in the universities. You find someone texting you, applying for internship, making like some few mistakes. You find that someone is writing on the subject while emailing. The subject is their names, like no clue about the soft skills. So it's good for the universities to put in place some stuffs and actually like make themselves like present while actually equipping the students with everything that they require to go to the marketplace. So, and the other thing is, we work with the people who have come up, like Joshua. I know Josh, he works with Elevate, he's a good friend of mine. I know Alan is a good friend of mine. Like, begin with those that in place. The Choose Sourcing company, they're there. Is there Queen? Queen is there. Like, those are companies that can actually work with the universities, equip them, and even other institutions. We can make time for universities. We take them through the basics. Like you saw here, the talent match. They teach the soft skills, and that's what we want in the marketplace. How can we actually support the young students? Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for actually supporting this and coming up with the ideas. Bless you. Thank you.
But at least the one of Joshua. But Doreen is asking, what is the strategy as university when it comes to ChatGPT, which is considered as a plagiarism? You know, as a university, we can just go put our head in the sand and ignore, or claim that ChatGPT is not used. Yet, be the teachers, be the student, they are all using it. So, because it's the technology that is there. So, and the whole idea why we are also having, developing our AI strategy and how we integrate into education and the collaboration with OpenAI, so we get also ChatGPT Edu. It's to have a personalized learning, because we also believe everybody doesn't have the capability. We just prevent students, but we also even don't teach them how they can, it can be a companion for their learnings, rather than maybe looking for always answers and all that, but a companion for learning. I'll give you my personal experience. I was in Japan, Tokyo, at the University of Sofia. You know, they have access to all generative AI they have for both research and ChatGPT, and they put a question there. Everybody has the same answer, but then they sit together and then discuss. Is this the only solution? Remember, all these tools, They are learning from what other people have been putting there, what every day you ask, even, so is it the only thing? They think about it, discuss. But our education system was not allowing that sort of reflection, because I'm here in the front and you think I have the hegemon of knowledge, while I don't. So that's what we are trying to change. It's not like we are there yet, but at least it's the intention. And that brings me to the question of Joshua, of what education is a collective endeavor. Totally agree. And I believe it becomes controversial because everybody thinks they know it, they know how they can reform it, everybody. At least that's one of the subjects, everybody is an expert, education. So which means we should be able to allow it as a university to open doors, because most of the time we're also not opening doors. Good Talent Match has an office on our campus. It was a deliberate effort. Alex in architecture brought employers, they were giving direct comments to the student on their own project, designing their own home. So you see, as a university, what we are trying to do now is to open doors to the employers and to different people who can partner with us. Obviously, there are some that are bold, like IKIPA. They came, they said, we don't like your program. We have to change it. So we had two choices. Either we don't want to change it, or we change it. At least we changed it. And then we get other opportunities with different employers, lawyers. If they are on board, they can come in. And obviously, Ministry of ICT is also helping us to change our ICT program. But what I want you to understand, be student or employer, university will not give everything. That's for sure. But if we partner, if students here change their attitude, are willing to search, obviously we can partner whoever wants to give us more data, but at least, we need to do it in a collective approach. For the internship, really, we noted it. We noted it. 1 month is not enough. In the curriculum reform, most of the people ask me, why did we move from 3 years to 4 years? You remember there was a time the university was offering 3 years bachelor degree. Now it's 4 years. It's because we want to integrate the internship component, at least from first year to 4th year. Maybe 2 months, and then we are, again, where Joshua can come in is to create that network of employers who are willing to take our students for a longer period. For now, we are piloting it with 40 companies here in Rwanda who are taking our student for 6 months. Obviously, some of them put a cost on that, asking, for example, we are not going to allow you or your student to touch our machinery, but you see, it's coming up, and that's what Frank is saying. Really, we need to be humble and listen more to employers. We have every year a stakeholder workshop. Maybe we need to make it every 3 months, and we hear from your insight. But university is open, and we hear you. Let's work together.
I wanted to compliment you on the RIN's question, and I agree with you. So there are 2 ways with this artificial intelligence. One is to act as if we don't know that it exists, that people are using it. The second option is actually to help our people using it better. One example I will share with you, at Rainbow, we have open, like now our team have an open subscription for Gemini. Of course, they don't like it. They like ChatGPT better. They think ChatGPT has more, because it also has more, it has, so many people have researched there. But at least what we have done now is that we have opened the subscriptions. Now, for us, we're like, okay, people will be submitting company data, we'll be uploading company data there. or people will be doing with not even knowing how to prompt the right answer depending on what you want. So what we have done, we have opened subscription for them. We have also opened courses on how do you use better this artificial intelligence, how do you prompt better, and then this has also paid for us. So now you can see an email with a clear introduction, with clear, you understand what the person wants. It's also help us as managers. Before you will read an email full of typo, you don't understand whether it's a request, it's actually, he wants an approval, but it's the faster we work towards embracing artificial intelligence, the better for us. So now the courses that we are doing is that, okay, AI will not solve all your problems. So what you get from ChatGPT, use your brain, use your mental, your critical judgment before you submit any of those things. So that's now a biggest, it's not only at the university, even at a workplace, you will see something that is very generic, and you see that this is just extracted from the ChatGPT, and then it's just submitted to me. So that's what I wanted to compliment on the AI. It's everywhere. The other day I was chatting with another HR who was telling me that even their staff, like people are reaching to the point where they ask, okay, should I stay with my boyfriend or not? They have developed that relationship with ChatGPT that it knows your boss, it knows your boyfriend, it knows what you write to. It's insane. It's insane. And back to Frank, this technology, we need to be careful, but it's there, it's out there. So the better we use it, the best it is.
Please lock your privacy. Know how to navigate your settings and your privacy. Data protection is very important. But I wanted to make 2 points just to add. On AI, think of it as when using computers and Microsoft Office became mandatory in office, everyone had to go in. I don't know, for everyone in university, you guys are still young, but everyone had to go in internet cafes to learn how to use Word. I think we are now back into that same cycle. So your job will be disrupted if you don't know how to integrate AI into the job that you're doing. So think about it in that way. The other part around, I think the internship, I wanted to touch on the internship part. One thing I would encourage, especially students that are in the room here, if you see any of these partners, ask them to tell you what they always want. But I think someone talked about it. Attitude is very, very important. And I know 6 weeks is not a long time, but I've seen people who come into the office and they come in every day and say, if you don't tell me to move this bottle from this table to that table, I don't know what I have to do. I can tell you, okay, we've come to this event, you're interning for Talent March and you're helping them set up this event, and they tell, please help us set up the space. But then you're requesting them to tell you, set up 5 rows of chairs, do this, like that particular taking initiative, critical thinking, like how it's very, very important, and unfortunately it's a skill and attitude that we are not getting enough in the workplace. People are waiting for, I don't know, like so that we can beg them to work, we can beg them to deliver results. But if you want to really compete in this market, no one cares that you don't speak English, no one cares that you don't have skill, especially at entry level. All of us, I studied computer engineering a long time ago. I don't do computer engineering. I didn't learn policy making. So the things we've learned in school is not the things that we might be doing 15 years, 20 years into the job, right? But you have to be able to think about, am I delivering? Am I taking initiative? And if you don't learn that in the 6 weeks that you get in that internship, no one is going to be willing to give you the extra 6 months to come back into the institution. and that's why employers also are saying, should I spend 10 hours per week teaching that person who is not willing to be taught? Or if I teach that person in those 10 hours, I'll gain another 20 hours on my work week because that person is now helping me in the next. So I think as students, I think that's the number one thing that people should be thinking about.
Thank you very much. I don't think we have time for any more questions. So before we wrap this up, I'll ask if any of the panelists have some final thoughts before we can end. Any final thoughts, Queen?
I think my final thoughts will be for our young people here. I also see this with my team. So that's why I want to encourage you guys to have a role model. Have someone, like have a picture of where you want to go. It's difficult when you ask someone, so okay, I have multiple positions, what do you want to be? Do you want to, like, are you here? Do you see yourself as a director? Do you see yourself as a manager? It's like, I haven't figured it out yet. I'm not even sure whether I like HR anymore. So it's difficult to talk that person who doesn't know, who doesn't have a career aspiration. So it's important for you at this age to find your aspiration, have your role model. And once you have your role model, go check them on LinkedIn or on their social media. What do they do? Who do they hang out with? Where do they hang out? What do they read? Or what type of videos? Or how do they spend their time? And then pull yourself there. I know we like to do clicks. It's okay, I'm not saying don't have friends, but also have someone who don't just validate you, but who pull you up. It's important to have that person in your life. The earlier you do it, the better. So I really encourage you to do that. Thanks.
I think I said my last one.
Okay. Well, one, don't be scared. Because whenever you go in this forum, everything can be scary, jobs, and don't be scared. Just be good and be the best that you can become. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Raymond. Please join me in thanking our panelists for a very insightful session. I think if you don't remember anything of what we just talked about, at least know that the government is working very hard to bridge the digital divide and to collaborate to do its job of connecting the dots to make sure that everyone is benefiting from the latest technologies. If you are an employer here or any other stakeholder that is willing to partner with the university to help them improve their offering, they are more than ready to do that. If you're a young person looking to prepare yourself for the job market, make sure that you are tech savvy, that you are working on ensuring that you're a critical thinker, a problem solver, and a communicator. So this marks the end of our session this evening. Thanks very much for your attention. Over to you, MC.
Before I let you go, can I ask the team to take off the chairs so we can have a picture, please? Thank you. I just remembered that in our CVs, as me, I'm a millennial.